We are back. A little technical difficulties, but you know what? This has been a stressful technical day, but I've had a wonderful visit with Bernie and Peter Trunk. Bernie Rose, Peter Trunk, I want to thank you. And before we go, I want to talk a little bit radio. We haven't talked much about radio in the old days. And Peter, I don't know if you remember Long John Nebel.
Oh,
At,
yes. Oh,
um,
yes. WOR.
WR, he came after Shepard, Gene Shepard,
Oh,
and
God, yes.
and that was my education was the Long John Nebel. He ran from 12 to 3 in the morning, and I had the radio under the pillow,
Oh, yeah.
and I learned so much from he and his guests.
Yes.
And what I've done, I don't know if Bernie, are you old enough to remember Long John?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I think it
bear
was
with me then.
right before Bernie started to become
Right, exactly,
wearable, all this stuff. Yeah. Right.
exactly. But this particular podcast was reminiscent to me of what a Long John Nebel show was like. He'd have two or three guests who were interesting, had smiles on their faces, good memories, and a good sense of humor for the most part. Not you for the most part. Um, but he talked about atheism and he had guests on that uh, just talked about all sorts of life. And I try to subconsciously, I guess, I try to make this podcast much like that, where we could all come on and kibitz. And if there are technical problems, you work through them.
Yeah.
You live, whatever. It's not perfect, but what is perfect is the genuine discussion and the passion when in you, Peter, when you recognize Long John Nebel and that um,
And Gene Shepard.
and Gene Shepard and the memories that that brings up in you, that made my day. That that you recognized what this show aspires to. I'll never have that, um, but I have better in a lot of ways.
There you go.
And you guys are a big part of it. Bernie, we play your music. I don't know if you recognize that on the intro. And Paulie, it's been difficult for you technically today, and you're a pro. What can I tell
Yeah,
you?
it happens. It happens from time to
It,
time. Right now, things are fine, but yeah, things happen. So we just roll with the
What are you
punches,
okay.
going
don't
to
we?
do?
So
It won't stream live, but you'll put it together, and we'll have a nice podcast
yes,
and good memories for the.
I'll crochet you up something. It will be fine.
So
A
you,
Um,
a nice little Afghan to keep you warm.
but,
Yeah.
but yeah. uh,
so we've got
give
basically.
me Peter before we go off.
Sure.
One of my heroes now, my musical heroes, is Mick Jagger and the entire Stones. Give me a little more Stones,
Let me tell you
Acapulco.
something. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you're aware of this, and
I am you.
and you don't have all day, but quickly, very quickly, I was a member for 10 years in a Rolling Stones cover group. I was Mick Jagger. In other words, I played harmonica and I sang lead. I know all the words. I know all the songs. All right. When I quit doing that, all the family weddings, receptions. Come on, Uncle Pete, you got to come up. You got to do Satisfaction. You got to do this. You got to do that. I sang at everybody's wedding in the entire family. Okay. All my nieces and nephews and cousins, and they all know that I sing Rolling Stones. They've all seen me do it. The first time Linda saw it, she almost died. She couldn't believe it. Because when I told her I did it, she said, "Yeah, okay, fine." And then I did it. She couldn't believe. She made her sister come. We used to go to bars, have a few drinks and stuff, and there'd be a live band. And her sister would go over and say, "You know any Rolling Stones?" And they'd say, "Yeah, we know Start Me Up, or we know Jumpin' Jack Flash, or we know Street Fighting Man." Well, my brother-in-law wants to come up and sing the song. She didn't even tell me. And the guy at the microphone would say, "Okay, Peter Trunk, come on up." And I said, "What the hell?" And I'd go up and they'd break into it and I'd sing it and then people would go crazy. And I'll tell you what, I even stole Mick Jagger's in between, so because I've seen them like 20 times. I stole his banter between songs. Like I would do a song in a bar, and I would fiddle with my belt, and I would say, "I think I busted a button on me trousers. I hope they don't
Don't fall down.
You don't want me trousers to fold down, now do you? Shit like that. Unbelievable. I'm known for that stuff. So, what was your question again?
You answered it superbly, my friend.
There you
But
go.
how about that? And Vaughn, would you give my love to Mert?
I will do that. Looks like I'll be going up
Okay.
this weekend.
Me
So,
too, Bart. Me too, Bart.
You got it.
He is so missed on so many levels that, and I think I had a post the other day, and I just came out. The words just came out. It he what he's going through takes the sprinkles off the proverbial ice cream cone of life for a myriad of people,
Yeah.
not just your family, not just your friends,
There's no
not
doubt.
just his associates at work.
Yeah.
It just and he's been diagnosed. It's about 2 years. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's over 2 years already.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 years. And you got to
Yeah.
figure he had it way before that. It was just,
Sure.
nothing was really that bad yet, so they didn't really.
Right.
Yeah. It's all a mind fuck, Vaughn. I've said that before.
Well, yeah.
Given too that he developed this in our later years of life when Lou Gehrig's disease, in my memory, has always happened tragically with someone younger.
Yeah.
And
Well, what the point everybody's missing apparently is that this has taken us right back to the Vietnam War.
yeah,
There's a lot of old service guys that were over there, and if they were anywhere near the three, and I didn't know any of this
Right.
until recently, the three largest areas of stockpiling Agent Orange.
Oh boy.
All of these guys are coming down with this now in their late 70s or
yeah.
mid to late.
Yeah.
So Mert and I had the same military recruiter in Flushing back then. And never was it mentioned Agent Orange, any danger whatsoever.
Oh, no.
The way they explained it to us, we're in the Air Force, and you have the Army guarding your base, and you have the Marines guarding the army. So he made the prospect of if we had to go over there safe. What he didn't tell us, not only Agent Orange, which I don't think he knew about in those days,
No.
but he did know that the idea of war in Vietnam was an internal fight with the Viet Cong. And that made mortars and what have you come through. And Mert and I would talk on cassettes back and forth the whole time he was over. And it was just, he had some terrifying moments of the base being bombarded and him in a bunker.
He had a cassette recording.
Yeah,
you can hear it.
Yeah, well, didn't have that because we set it up. We didn't have that, but
Well, I mean,
we
I
did
heard
have the
when
communication.
he came back.
And you know what? He one of the positive things when he was over there, he had Armed Forces radio, and he was able to get the big, the
Super Bowl.
World Series in
Yeah,
19.
yeah.
He happened to be there the year the Mets won the World Series and the Jets won the Super Bowl.
There you
Right.
go.
He missed them both.
69.
Funny, but
and
I was 23.
Pardon me?
I was 23. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I should
We were the
keep my
same
mouth shut.
exact. We're exactly the same age.
Yeah.
Mert is like 5 or 6 months younger than us.
Okay.
Born 4 or 5 years. Am I correct?
5 years. Barn is 5 years younger than I am.
Yeah,
He was born with a shot heard round the world. Bobby Thompson.
Yeah.
Bobby Thompson. Right.
Yeah.
And you know something? It's interesting that you bring that up, Peter, because Peter introduced me probably 15 years ago to the book Green Cathedrals, which was written by a Wall Street Journal journalist who wrote a book on how that Bobby Thompson home run was every bit as illegitimate as the crashing of the cans in Houston all these years later.
Yeah.
Cheating goes on in baseball all the time, and I'll never look back on the 51. Knowing is the booby prize in life. I'll never look back on the 51 experience, and I was too young. I got, history embedded in me as a Giant fan, but I don't remember that. I remember going to a game or two in 51.
But you're only 5 years old.
Right, but I remember the Giants before Willie got called up and after Willie got called up. And I remember my grandfather explaining the realignment that Bobby Thompson went to third base in center and this, that, and the other thing.
To make room for Willie. Right.
Right. But I don't remember the actual shot heard around the world other than the newsreels and and all that stuff.
Sure.
But it was brought out the worst in human nature. Got to take that extra edge.
Yeah.
And Giants took it.
Yep.
But I'll also give you a great quote, Peter, as a Dodger fan. This comes from Sal Magley, and he was talking to Branca, and he said, "Hey, Dago, you should have thrown the curveball."
Yeah.
And so that sticks in my mind. And the pure joy. Uh, I don't know if you and I, Peter, you consider him to be the greatest ball player you ever saw.
Willie
And I
Mays,
don't, yeah,
without a doubt, the greatest ball player that I ever saw. Without a
good.
doubt.
I wanted to get that. I don't think you and I got that quote, got your quote, without a doubt, the greatest ball player I've ever seen.
Of course, that's
We haven't
totally
been,
subjective. It's
yeah,
totally subjective, but I think I'm
well,
joined by a few
no.
people that agree with
This
me.
is, this is one of the things that with Willie and his career and his five tools and his intangibles of how he moved the infield around,
Yeah.
the outfield around, uh, almost at times called the pitches. Um, he made so much of an impact on that franchise because we know we followed it all. And there is no doubt. I mean, Bonds, given everything, was this, that, and the other thing. He didn't have the arm. Willie had the arm. He didn't have the flair for entertainment.
No one had the flair like Willie, running out
Right,
from under his cap, always
right.
running out from underneath his cap.
Absolutely. And the argument was it a was the cap too large or too small for him?
Yeah.
And um, I think it was too small for him, but because he always looked cool in that cap.
Oh, yeah.
And and you and I recently talked about the NY on on that cap and how the Mets initially wanted it to be the same as
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And they ended up, after the first year or so, bastardizing it.
Well, yeah, they
And
tightened up. They tightened up the top of each arm of the Y.
right,
Okay,
right.
it used to be
And
very loose with the Giants, very loose top of each arm of the Y in the interlocking NY. The Mets, for some reason, I have no idea, they tightened that up. I don't know why. To this
I
day,
don't
I don't know
even.
why.
And then they did the ultimate. They put the orange beanie on it. And
Yeah.
I never could accept that. And I never could accept a giant cap that didn't have the orange beanie on it.
Oh, it had to have that. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Just like there are
Hey,
times I've
listen,
seen.
listen, Zig. I'm 79 years old. I'm in a restaurant, a pizza parlor, about 2 months ago. A guy comes in. God love him. He was older than I was, and he had a Brooklyn Dodger hat on. The button on the top wasn't white. I went over to him and I said, "Hey, Brooklyn Dodger." I showed him my tattoo. I showed him my World
But you
Series
had to
ring.
call them on it.
Of course, I showed him my Duke Snyder telephone. And then I said, "But I got to tell you something." And his wife looked at me like,
Right.
"Oh." And I said, "The button on the top of your cap has to be white." I said,
Yeah.
"You get your wife to get some fabric paint from the hobby store and paint it white, and then it'll be perfect." And I walked away. I don't know if they
Right.
hated me or if they laughed about it.
He went home and he had a heart attack and died.
Right. Exactly.
That, and you know, some people live too long and some people die too soon.
Oh yeah.
And he should have known with the button of the Dodger cap.
Unbelievable.
Um, okay, I'm a silly man. This has been a nice show. Nice having you guys come back as a tandem every now and again.
I'm sorry I dominated a lot, Bernie. I
No.
apologize.
Let me show you something.
All right, here we go.
All right.
He's going to get his fabric paint. Hold on.
There he goes.
I walked into the bank the other day like this.
All right.
Oh.
And the guy who was at the window, before me.
Yeah.
He goes, baseball? He goes, I can't watch baseball anymore, but it's so slow. But I'm from Brooklyn. I'm an old Brooklyn Dodger guy, but I hate baseball now. And what are you telling me? I love it.
Oh my God.
I said, that's your problem. I said,
if a guy ever told me I hate baseball, it's too slow, I would have said to him, depending on his size and age, I would have said to him, that's because you don't understand the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd ask him to stand at the plate. You think it's too slow? Get a bat. Stand at the plate.
Yeah, right.
Tell me how slow it is.
Yeah.
You'll see it coming in slow motion the whole way, right?
The worst. You're absolutely right. The worst pitcher on the team is 6'6", weighs 270 pounds, and throws 99.
Yeah.
That's the worst guy out of the bullpen.
Right.
And you know what? Bobby Shantz was just as effective with his guile and his junk and his gamesmanship as these 6'6" pitchers who burn out and have had Tommy John surgery in high school to get this way. And baseball is missing a lot with just the pitch and hit game it's become.
Let me give you just a couple of quick fuck moments that you were asking about. As long as I put the hat on.
Well, that was one of mine. As soon as you put that blue hat on, I said, oh, fuck.
The 1966 World Series, and the Dodgers to this day have never repeated as world champions. But here they were, world champions, going to repeat. And a guy that we all knew and loved, Peter, Willie Davis,
made 3 errors in one inning.
Dropped a ball in center field, and I went, oh, fuck. And a minute later, he dropped a ball in center field, and I went, oh, fuck. And a minute later, he dropped another ball in center field. The sun, whatever it was doing. Now, that was 3 fucks for the price of 1.
The key to that World Series was Mo Drabowski.
Yeah.
The Dodgers couldn't smell his ass.
Well,
hey, let me tell you a little story. The exact weekend that Ford pardoned Nixon, I was at this what's the name? Caesar's Palace in Vegas on an insurance man's convention. And note my hat, guys. I played tennis in those days. And I wander out to the back courts of Caesar's Palace. They had tennis courts. And they had 3 guys, and they needed a 4th. One of the guys was 3 Dog. Another one was The Graduate. Who played The Graduate?
Dustin
Hoffman. And can't remember the third one. And then there was me. And we played doubles. And Dustin Hoffman was just as charming as you can imagine.
Okay.
And 3 Dog was intense about that little foursome. and he played to win. And he had a TD ring on. And I asked him about that, and he said it was his brother's, but I guess he meant that Tommy Davis was a bro. And I didn't pick up on that. And for years I said, what is big gold thing? Probably given to him by his brother. Rest in peace. He was a personality, and reminds me of the day that the second time I was disenchanted with the Giants, and that was when Marichal hit Roseboro.
Yeah.
And that changed, that cemented it for me. I mean, those two embarrassments were incredible. And I come to find out he didn't just hit him once, he hit him 3 times.
Yeah.
Should have been put in jail.
And I had the pleasure of, when I worked for Topps, of meeting Johnny Roseboro a number of times. He was a rover in the minor leagues. And I got to tell him that was wrong. And I got to tell him, I know you guys were not friends. I know why it was done. It was a financial arrangement so that it greased the way for Marichal to get in the hall.
Yeah.
And I know how it was before pension time and how little that these rovers and these minor league guys made, and how, and he looked at me, his eyes went up, and he goes, like, shakes his head, like, you know, he wasn't going to confirm it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know,
You can
they
see the
were
twinkle in
not,
his eye. Yeah.
and the sadness in his eyes at that particular moment.
Yeah.
And he was, it was nice that I got, remember earlier you told the guy, you had to tell him about the hat. I had to tell him that I didn't believe any of that friendship. You don't get hit on the head. I'm a human being. I know that. I've been hit on the head proverbially. And 3 times you hit on the head, you're not going to be his friend. There was a deal made. And I got to tell him that. And I got to say that on my podcast. And I got to show this was Miss Olson's doing. She put this patch on a beret. And so thank you, Miss Olson. Appreciate that. She's missed. Thank you guys for being on. Paulie,
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't put on a hat because they're all 100 yards that way. So I couldn't put on a hat. The closest I could do is point at my giant sign that says I'm an authentic fan.
That's okay.
That'll
that's
show you.
All right. I wasn't going to look like Baseball Man today. I was going to look like this. This has been terrific. Thank you, Paulie. You're a genius. And
I'm going to stitch this all together, but we're going to do what we normally do at the end of the show. You guys, please, go like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. There's the handles. Go like, subscribe, hit those little bells. Also, you know, Zig says, give to your local Head Start program. That's right, folks. Round up those books, bring them to your local Head Start program. Why? Because Zig says. That's right. And that's it.
Kids need a passion. And you don't have to be need a head start or think you need a head start, to get a head start in having a passion. And if you bring books that are lightly used or new and bundle them up to bring to your Head Start program in whatever community you are, um, you are encouraging the world to change for the better.
There you go.
And
Well, yes.
so keep doing what you do. Hang in there, guys.
All
Love
right.
to
All right.
merge.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Love to
guys.
merge
Appreciate
farm.
you.
Take care. All right.
All
All right,
right.
guys. We'll see you next week in the zone. Until next week,
Hey,
guys.
rest in peace, Long John.
Later.